It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But the moment Kim Taehyung appeared on Run BTS 2.0, something felt different. April 2026. The return of Run BTS 2.0 has reignited global excitement. Fans tuned in expecting laughter, chaos, and the unpredictable energy that made the show iconic. And they got all of that. But they also got something else, something unexpected. A version of Taehyung that feels quieter, more composed, and noticeably more mature. At first glance, nothing has changed. The games are still chaotic. The members are still competitive. The laughter is still loud. But within that familiar environment, Taehyung's presence stands out, not because it's louder, but because it's calmer. While others react instantly, he often pauses. While others speak quickly, he chooses his moments. And that difference is enough to change how the entire scene feels. Why fans noticed immediately. Taehyung has always been one of the most distinctive personalities on Run BTS. In past seasons, he was unpredictable, playfully chaotic, full of sudden, unexpected reactions. He didn't just participate in the moment, he disrupted it. That's why this new version feels so striking. Because instead of disrupting the moment, he seems to be observing it. If earlier Taehyung was defined by spontaneity, the 2026 version seems defined by intention. A more measured presence. One of the clearest differences is pacing. In previous seasons, Taehyung often reacted instantly, sometimes before fully processing what was happening. That impulsiveness created some of the most memorable moments in the show's history. Now, there's a noticeable pause. He watches first, then reacts, then speaks. This small change creates a completely different kind of energy, the power of observation. Being observant might not sound entertaining at first, but in a chaotic environment, it becomes powerful. Because while everyone else is caught in the moment, the observer sees the bigger picture. Taehyung's reactions now feel more precise, more intentional, almost like he's choosing when to stand out rather than doing it naturally. And ironically, that makes him stand out even more. Not less energy, just different energy. It's easy to assume that a calmer presence means less energy. But what we're seeing isn't a reduction, it's a transformation. The energy is still there. It's just more controlled. Instead of bursts of unpredictability, it appears as subtle humor, quiet expressions, well-timed comments. This shift changes not only how Taehyung appears, but how he is perceived in a group like BTS. Every personality plays a role. And when one role evolves, the entire dynamic adjusts. The balance factor. Previously, Taehyung often acted as a source of chaos, adding unpredictability to already energetic situations. Now, he may be becoming something else. A stabilizer. His calmer presence creates balance. His restraint contrasts with others' spontaneity. And that contrast enhances the group dynamic rather than weakening it. A shift in interaction style. Another noticeable change is how Taehyung interacts with the other members. He seems to listen more, interrupt less, respond more thoughtfully. These are small behavioral shifts, but they create a different kind of connection. Instead of dominating moments, he contributes to them. Chemistry that evolves, not disappears. Some fans worry that change might reduce the chemistry that made Run BTS so special. But chemistry doesn't disappear, it evolves. A calmer Taehyung doesn't remove the fun. It introduces a new layer. Now, the humor can come from contrast. Loud versus quiet. Fast versus slow. Chaos versus control. And that contrast can be even more engaging than before. What we're witnessing in Run BTS 2.0 isn't a sudden transformation. It's a gradual shift, one that reflects growth, experience, and a deeper sense of identity. Taehyung hasn't lost what made him unique. He's refining it. And as the show continues, one question remains. Is this just a phase? Or the beginning of a completely new era? In one of the early moments of Run BTS 2.0, something simple happened. In a chaotic environment, attention usually follows noise. The loudest voice, the biggest reaction, the fastest movement. But when everything is loud, the quiet becomes rare. And rare things attract attention. Taehyung's new advantage. By becoming calmer, Taehyung is doing something unexpected. He's creating contrast. While others fill the space, he holds it. While others react instantly, he waits. And that waiting builds anticipation. Moments that feel more real. Another reason fans connect with this version of Taehyung is authenticity. Big reactions can be entertaining, but subtle ones feel real. A small smile, a quiet laugh, a short comment. These moments feel less like performance and more like genuine expression. And that authenticity is what makes them memorable. At this point, fans aren't just noticing a change. They're naming it, the rise of a new term. Across social media, one phrase keeps appearing.
Calma Taehyung era.
It's not an official concept. It's not something announced, but it's something fans feel. What this era represents. According to fan discussions, this era is defined by emotional control, intentional expression, quiet confidence, observational behavior. It's less about external energy and more about internal presence. Not a new person, a new layer. One important point fans continue to emphasize. This isn't a replacement. The playful, unpredictable Taehyung still exists. But now, it's balanced by something else. A deeper layer. A more grounded version of the same personality. Why this change feels so significant? This shift matters because it reflects growth. Not just as an entertainer, but as a person. And when fans see that kind of growth, it strengthens their connection. Because it feels real. What we're seeing in Run BTS 2.0 might not stay limited to variety shows. It could be part of something bigger. A consistent direction across content. This calmer, more intentional presence isn't only visible in Run BTS. Fans have noticed similar traits in performances, public appearances, interviews. This consistency suggests that it's not temporary. It's a direction. Impact on his artistic identity. As Taehyung continues to evolve, this shift could influence how he approaches his work. Music might become more emotional, more minimal, more focused on storytelling. Visuals might become more cinematic, more refined, more intentional. Everything starts to connect. A new kind of global appeal. In the global entertainment industry, artists who show depth often stand out more than those who rely on energy alone. Taehyung's current direction aligns with that. He's not just entertaining, he's creating presence. And that presence translates across cultures. Change doesn't happen in isolation, especially in BTS. A more balanced dynamic. With Taehyung becoming calmer, the group dynamic naturally shifts. Other members may take on more of the chaotic energy, while he provides balance. This creates a richer interaction overall. New types of chemistry. Instead of everyone reacting at the same level, there's now variation. And variation creates interest. Moments become less predictable, but in a different way. Why this evolution matters. Groups that stay the same risk becoming repetitive. Groups that evolve stay interesting. Taehyung's shift may be one of the factors keeping Run BTS fresh. Even after all these years, this question keeps coming up. Is this who he's always been? The idea of authenticity. In entertainment, what we see is often a version of reality. A curated version. An amplified version. But over time, those layers can change. Closer to his true self? Some fans believe this calmer Taehyung is actually closer to his real personality. Not less expressive, just more selective. Not less emotional, just more controlled. Growth you can see. Whether it's his true self or a new phase, one thing is clear. It reflects growth. And growth is something audiences connect with deeply. The return of Run BTS 2.0 was expected to bring entertainment. And it did. But it also brought something else. A glimpse of change. A new era in motion. Taehyung hasn't made any official statement about changing. He hasn't announced a new persona. But sometimes, actions speak louder than words. And right now, his actions are telling a story. the quiet evolution. It's not loud. It's not obvious. But it's there. A shift in energy. A shift in presence. A shift in identity.